Hi guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. We are talking about Man United versus Spurs at White Hart Lane, and I'm joined by Bath Time and Big Mr. B. Evening, lads. Evening. Yes, we got a big game tomorrow, 5:30. We're playing Spurs away at White Hart Lane. It's going to be a tough game. They've got a new manager, and they're all excited, aren't they, with this new manager coming in? I just listened to his press conference. I'm even excited. I like his Aussie accent and husky voice and his confidence as well. But yeah, we go again, week 2 in the Premiership. Big up Bath Time. Big up Mr. B. How are you guys doing? How's your week been? I know Mr. B is your favourite day of the week. How you feeling?
I've got the Friday feeling, man. I've got the Friday feeling nice and early today. Finished work at 11:30.
Oh, so wow. Wait. What time do you start if you finish at 11:30?
Started at 6.
Okay.
And yeah, nice. I had a very, very good day today, mate. So yeah, look, I've been Fridaying all since about 1:30. So yeah, my day's been really good so far.
Well, we've gone. How's your week been? How's your day been? What have you been up to, bro?
Oh, really? I've had a really good week. It's like the sort of tail end of summer, just gearing up for Sunday League starting up soon. When are you boys starting?
We got friendlies up until another 3-4 weeks of friendlies.
Yeah, end of September are you starting, or first week of October?
September, yeah. What about you, Mr. B?
Last week in September is my first game, so we got another. I think I got another 4 pre-season games. To be fair.
Yeah. What about you, Darius? When's your?
Yeah, exactly the same. Last week of September. Yeah. Like, it really annoys me. I wish it was the first week of September, and I wish the Premier League started the first week of September.
Do you take your friendlies as serious as do you see them as like competitive games here?
No, I see them as just to make sure that my level hasn't dropped and not getting injured. So like I sub myself off after 60 minutes and quite a lot of them. I enjoy the training more than the pre-season games.
But do you want to see development? Because me and Mr. B are running teams and like it's different for us. We're not playing so much anymore. So for you, do you want to see both sides of things? Don't you want to see your team develop and you want to sort of get your performance up as well? Is that right?
Well, we kind of have like I hate this expression, but we have like learning goals. So we'll like talk during the week, and on Wednesday we did a little session, and then we got to implement it in the game. And at halftime we sort of talk about how it's going and things. So it's just like a really competitive training session where we're just focusing on one thing, but it always deteriorates into someone gets a bit of a kick or someone's going in hard, and then it just turns into a Sunday League match of like win your 1v1s, physically get on someone and stuff like that. And I don't want to get injured and I don't want to fight when there's nothing there. Like for the league, let's go, but when we're playing like young farmers and they're all like big red faces and things, and not up for these gout merchants.
You're out in the country. The picture's really nice up there.
No, they're always built on bloody clay, so they never drain properly because all the good land is taken up by like farmers or housing estates and things like that. So the pictures are pretty rubbish. But I've always been quite jealous of when I see like Hackney Marshes. And just hundreds. It looks like hundreds of football pitches all next to each other. I'd love to have a go on them one day, but I'm scared of playing in London.
You know what? I just want to say big up to Mr. B and his team. They're playing in a World Cup tournament. You've got one more game, haven't you, Mr. B? If you win that,
we win tomorrow through to the final. Yeah. Which is weird. Last season was terrible, and then this season we've started with a bang. But I might have to don the boots again tomorrow, so maybe we'll be going out in the semis.
Have you had a few dropouts then?
Yeah, I've had a couple of dropouts, man. Trials and tribulations of being a manager, man. It's one of those things, man.
I wish you luck. Make sure you give me a text and let me know how you get on.
I will. Yeah, if I can use the phone afterwards, I'm going to be battered.
The thing is, your final. If you get to the final, your final is in October, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
October. Yeah, end of October. Yeah,
end of
yeah,
October.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
so you got a few
yeah,
months. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Do you want to say big up to Rebel in the chat? He's saying Dark Day football history. Our club poisonous owners in their befuddled wisdom called charity domestic violence charity hostile, and they brought some shame at club. Okay, typical Rebel. How are you, Rebel? Hope you're well and smiling. Big up to Sigmund Judge. He said, "Good evening, lads. How you doing, Sigmund? Nice to see you. Football Power Hour, one of our favourites. How you doing, bro? Big up my Pete. Says Man United 3-1 against Spurs. I like that scoreline. I mean, that's Solo's scoreline, isn't it? He always uses that one. Zoe Media House, saying hello to everyone on the panel, and I'm sure everyone else in chat as well. Hope you're doing well, Zoe. Big up to Matthew Bassett. It's Friday night, and I always think of him getting a kebab or something. It's just like now, isn't it, for him? What are you ordering tonight? What sort of takeaway you got, Matthew? Big up to Andrew Williams. You know what? I'm really impressed. Andrew Williams over the last few months has been loyal to the Man United agenda. He's come on early. He doesn't jump on late. Come on early, and he's ready for it. And he's been positive as well, and agreeing with bath time, which is kind of strange.
No, Amanda, this isn't true. Like last week, he left a chat saying Amanda
Oh, yeah.
and Darius are talking psychobabble again.
Oh god, that is true. Yeah, sorry.
But big up to Andrew.
Right.
I like
No,
Andrew a lot.
Big up to Bart as well. Bart, you've been really loyal to the Man United agenda as well. We got Liverpool. Liverpool game's not until December, so we can keep it nice and civil for now. He said, "Evening, interesting stat from Mr. B and OMONDI. United collected 4 points versus Fulham, 2-2 at Spurs, away from home in the Premier League last season against teams in the top 10. So, yeah, we haven't done well against teams in the top 10 last season, but it's a new season. Big up to Matthew Bassett in the chat. Talk to everyone in the chat. Reports on Twitter about Amrabat is about to have medical at United in the next 12 hours. Big up to DK Wilson. He said, "Main evening, gents."
So, who posted that?
That's from Bart.
Oh, God.
It just says report. More news here. Evening, gents, from DK Wilson, all the way from America. He says, "How about Chelsea now putting up 1.2 billion during the window? So how much for fair play, huh?" I think there's a way around it. They're getting away with it. Caneless Spurs may be toothless, but they build up play and physicality in defence with the new centre back who's supposed to be pretty fast, and Romero, who is actually playing tomorrow, will pose a threat for United, says Bart. Andrew Williams having a laugh. He's laughing. Sigmund saying, "We'll be at the game tomorrow." Oh my God, he's going to the White Hart Lane. Won't be as cocky at halftime as it was last season when they played Stone Roses at halftime. I was having a party and then we folded. What's the score last year? I remember I went to the one where we beat them 3-0. That must have been the season before. But what was the score at White Hart Lane last year?
Didn't Bart just put 2-2?
Was it 2? Okay, it's 2. We let it go. Big up to Man United. How you doing? Stephanie Griffiths in the house as well. Rebel saying United belittling the club, calling. Okay, he's going on about the type. This isn't good. Look, I think you need to revisit that reaction. Okay, Dad. All right, man.
Yeah, Monday. Do exactly what Rebel wants from you.
Here in the comment from the comments from my dad Rebel, saying reports in the Saudi state Benzema Kante currently trying to convince Varane to join them. No, thank you. Andrew Williams, he says he's a Yorkshireman, and I say what I like. I like what I say. DK Wilson saying, "OMONDI, thanks for that." My reply after my YouTube comment on the Greenwood issue. Yeah, I responded. Obviously, guys, we would encourage you guys to continue the chat going as much as we can, including you, Bath Time. We like to sort of talk. Get the conversation going in the chat afterwards.
But they're mainly about me being an idiot whenever I go and check
I
on
saw.
them.
Did you see one? There's one about you the other day.
Well, I saw it, and I clicked on the guy to see what else, and he commented on a show that I wasn't on. This part-time guy is completely deluded. So I want to see how many I get tonight.
Bath Time is like a Marmite, isn't he? You have a love him or hate him. And we love you, Bath Time. Don't worry about that.
Not a yeast infection.
Jesus Christ.
Definitely saying early goal to quiet toxic Spurs fans down, and hopefully it'll be a 3-0 as well. All right, anyway, big up to Matty as well. I spoke to Matty today. Hope you're doing well, Matty. We had a good chat, didn't we, about just catching up on life and everything else and current affairs. So big up to Matty, Football United TV. Go and subscribe to them. All right, intro's taken us 10 minutes. Let's get into this. We're playing Spurs tomorrow. I'm going to start with Angie Spurs, not Angie from EastEnders. This is Angie. He looks like a Cockney Aussie, isn't he? He's really husky voice, bit of rough and ready, confident, done well, done a treble at Celtic, ended up at Spurs. And let's talk about them. They without Kane. I want to start with you, Bath Time. You watched the game at Brentford last week, and you got a few comments about them, haven't you? You mentioned something backstage. Can you let us know what you're talking about with Spurs and their result last week against Brentford?
It wasn't like that particularly insightful. It was that we know that Brentford are extremely good at transitions, and they look to get Mbueno and someone else, can't remember his name, on players. We saw that if you think of the fourth goal at Brentford last season, like Luke Shaw got absolutely done at the back post, and so Brentford went out like doing lots of things that I like, which is any set piece, any throw in, get it in the box. I'd love United to get a right back that had a giant throw and just keep getting it in the box. But they tightened up their midfield at half time. And Bissouma, who didn't have the greatest of seasons last year, he played quite well, and he was the sort of physical presence in the midfield that they needed to kind of shut Brentford down a little bit. And I thought it was quite interesting how United were absolutely atrocious against Wolves on transitions, and I suppose you're both coaches and stuff. We could go in and talk about what you should do as a defensive midfielder in a transition, and then tomorrow you can look out for it and see if Casemiro does it.
Okay. Just quickly, Andrew Williams is agreeing with you. He says Bissouma, who looked one of the biggest flops last year in the league, I saw him in pre-season and versus Brentford, a different player this season. So he totally agrees with you. What is it exactly Bissouma did? Because I've always felt he was like a block there, good on the ball, pass it simply, and break up the play sort of player when he's on the point.
All right. So when you're like defending, when you're defending a transition and you are in the middle of the pitch, like in the midfield, there's a cut. Yeah, there's two things that you've got to do. The first one is really obvious: is you got to know where the goal is, because you've got to get yourself in between the ball and the goal. But the second thing, and this is really, really important, is you've got to see if there's cover. And cover is if Varane and Martinez are 2 versus 2, that's not cover, right? If Varane, Martinez and Shaw are there, there's cover and you can jump. So when you jump, that means that you can go and pressure the ball carrier and try and win the ball. But when there's no cover, what you have to do is you basically got to back off and show them at our level onto their left foot, because I'm just going to assume that they're not left-footed, and stay in shape. And what Bissouma did really well is he knew his lines, so he knew his distances. So he was able to just stay a little bit. He was able to stay far away enough to not break the centre, but he was also there to close it down. So if you think about Jude Bellingham against France, when was it Tuchemeni who scored a shot?
That's right.
Yeah, Bellingham, he's a young player and he's inexperienced. He didn't know his distances. He doesn't know his distances well enough, so he wasn't able to close that shot down properly. But Bissouma, because these are the sort of geeky things that I look to steal, to be honest, from proper players. Bissouma was really good at knowing his lines, and he knew when to jump and when not to jump. So when we sort of talk about transitions tomorrow after Spurs, like just keep your eye out for that. Like see how many people, see if we got cover, and see if Casemiro reacts to it or not. Because like Fred McTominay always used to get hammered for this, but they used to do it quite well, where they'd back off and keep the shape. And if we got beat by a worldie, we got beat by a worldie. Mr.
B. So talk about Spurs here. They've signed Maddison. Now, I wasn't sure. I didn't really go into detail, but obviously he's playing in their system. I don't know what sort of formation they play, but he's a key player with the money they spent on him. And did you watch the Brentford games or anything you see as a threat from Spurs, or some sort of new revitalized play?
They just play aggressive. They just play aggressive football on Monday.
Yeah.
His style hasn't changed from Celtic. They play high up the pitch. They press, and they try and play through Maddison. Whether or not that's going to change, or that was just a situation of Kane going. I'm not absolutely sure, but Spurs are Spurs, man. Spurs are Spurs. They huff and they puffed last week, but I just think that they'll probably be playing into our hands with the system that Postecoglou wants to play.
Because I listened to the press conference just before we'd done the show, and he was saying he was pleased with the way they showed resilience to come back because they made a couple of mistakes in the first half, and as
But not with the style of play.
Yeah. So he's
Yeah.
really intent on getting his team playing the style of football he wants to do. So he said he wants people to be talking about his style of play, and I still haven't really known about him from Celtic, even at Spurs now. So I'm really interested to see how he plays, and there's a great opportunity tomorrow. I'm doing a watch along to actually take it all in, you know. So yeah, really looking forward to this. By the way, Romero is fit. He's been training all week, apparently, Andrew. There was a concern with him as well. They've got a new Dutch centre back. I can't remember his name, but he came
Van der Men.
So he's like 6'6" or something. One of the quickest defenders out there as well. I suppose this is to help them with their high line, because Sanchez came on last week, I think, for Romero maybe early in the game. And so if they're playing a high line, they've got players like Dyer, that's not really going to suit them, apparently. It's what the Spurs...
That's why he hasn't been playing.
Yeah, so Dyer's potentially could not be at the club for too long, especially because he's too slow, apparently. But this new guy can play up high up the pitch, pretty fast as well, can turn. And according to sort of speed stats, he's one of the fastest players in the Bundesliga last season. And he's only played one good season in Bundesliga. Prior to that, he was in a Dutch club that wasn't one of the top three, a smaller Dutch club as well. Van der Vee, thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew, talking about it. He's quick as well, for sure. And attack like Fergie days. Come on, United. Big up to Damien in the chat as well. So, yeah, that's enough about Spurs. Let's not talk about them too much. Let's talk about our club. First of all, big news. Maguire's not travelling, is he? What's going on with that, Mr. B?
Music to my ears.
Yeah, I saw your text.
Yeah. He's a bloody idiot. He's an absolute bloody idiot. Ten Hag said to him he doesn't want him at the club. He's made it blatantly obvious that he doesn't want it at the club. And now today, after all of Ten Hag, man, he's a gangster in his press conference. He said, he has to fight for his place. He has to show more aggression. When the team comes out, Maguire's not in it. Beautiful. He showed him already that he doesn't want him at the club. He doesn't want to think he's good enough. If Maguire wants to stay and fight for his place, let him stay and fight for his place, because he's fighting for nothing. There's no place there for him. The only thing left for Ten Hag to do is take his shirt number away from him. That's it. That's all that's left. Now, if Maguire wants to stay and he wants Man United to pay him the £6 million or the £7 million that he wants to get paid because they qualified for the Champions League that he never had any part in doing, because if he had played, we would have been in bloody Europa and he wouldn't have had a pay fucking increase, then it wouldn't have been a problem. So I'm glad he's not in the squad. I hope he reads this right, and I hope he's onto his agent tomorrow begging to move to West Ham.
So Bath time. I mean, Varane, Lindelof, and Martinez, and I suppose Shaw as well. And this is the squad that's going. There's no Maguire, even though he's on the bench last week. Do you think that's a big indication that he needs to go and the manager just wants him out? Because just to read out some comments here from the manager in the press conference, he said Harry has to fight for a position. We've got 5 or 6 centre backs, and he was asked why Harry didn't go to West Ham. He said he doesn't know the process broke down, apparently, and it was up to him. He knows what I expect. He's talking about Maguire. He said he knows what I expect from him. He can do it. He said he has the ability to do it. He just has to show it. But he wouldn't go into detail what it is regarding Maguire. But yeah, he's not in the squad. I think that's a big indication. Do you that he's not wanted?
Yeah, I think that when you look to Sancho, it's a very clear indication that Maguire is no longer wanted. Like, Sancho was sent off to a Buddhist retreat for sort of 3 months, was given all these chances to sort of get his confidence up and stuff like that. Harry Maguire is a man that never looks particularly... He always looks very troubled, Maguire. Like, in any pictures you see, looks like he's got the weight on the weight of the world on his shoulders. And Ten Hag, I don't think he wants him. Ten Hag's a bit of a checkbook manager. I think he'd like the money, and he's trying to force Maguire out of the club. But I fully expect tomorrow there to be some sort of tweet about. Do you remember Dennis Bergkamp never flew?
Yeah.
To say that now Maguire he can't go on buses or something. But yeah, I think it's fairly clear that Ten Hag's had a look at him, doesn't like his mental strength, doesn't like him as a player, and wants money.
Okay, a few comments here. Spurs, it's Spurs. We always win. We rarely lose to them. That's from Zoe Media House. Football United TV saying Richarlison is nothing to worry about unless about his skull lifting the Tiger Beer Cup. All right, he won a Tiger Beer Cup in pre-season in his Spurs panties. You know what would really burn me if he scores a winner and does that pigeon celebration? That will hurt my soul. Damien saying here, I bet Harry will do a Piers Morgan interview very soon. DK Wilson saying Eric Ten Hag lays out Maguire. Beautiful. They're loving this. They're loving this, guys, in the comments. Zico Forbes, you know who he is. Kahinde, my brother. He said, we need the Maguire money to get Amra back. So he wants Maguire out. Hoping to attend more games than Maguire gets appearances this season from Sigmund as well. Has Maguire got travel sickness? Feels like a Piers Morgan interview coming on. There's two people who said that now. Maybe there is. Ruthless management, says Man United. He likes that. And getting a good laugh there by half time. Yeah, I remember it was the 94 World Cup. Dennis Bergkamp travelled and had some really bad turbulence. And from that day, he vowed never, ever to get on a plane again. And obviously he lives in Holland. My flatmate's just gone to Holland over the weekend for a reggae festival. Went on the Eurostar, 4 hours from London. I mean, unbelievable. I just don't know how that works. 4 hours on the train. You just sit there and you end up in Holland. It's amazing. But yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Imagine.
Yeah, magnets. How do they work?
I don't know.
One thing I would like to say about Maguire, though, and let me land this point before everyone starts shouting at me, is I've got a lot of time for Harry Maguire and I've got a lot of time for Ole, and I think it's really sad what's happened because I don't know how you guys got on during COVID, but COVID was a really difficult time, for me personally. I like socialising, like playing football, and Boris told me I had to sit in my house for 2 years, which was great. But Maguire was the captain of the team that kind of got me through that period. United were my kind of source of hope during that time. They were that team. They weren't that great, but they're one of my favourite United teams ever for how they helped me out. And I do think it's a bit sad that Maguire, that everyone's sort of laughing at Maguire and things. I wish him all the best when he leaves, and I hope that apart from against us, he does very well in his career because he was a good player.
I second that. I know Mr. B doesn't, but I do rate Harry Maguire. A good player he is, and all the best if he does leave. Harry Maguire would be a vary of rocking the boat, as he would like to be in the squad for the Euros. Plus, he doesn't have the clout of Ronaldo as well. Sigmund saying here, appreciate the insane clown posse reference. And I wondered, did you end up in a coffee shop? When I went to Amsterdam in 97, 98. I did. At that time, I was smoking, if you know what I mean. Stopped all that rubbish now. Zoe Media House saying here, I agree with you. That's why I can't support Qatari takeover. Don't want my club to become Chelsea and City. And Harry has no humility. Needs humility to get sympathy from me. Humility, yes.
It's a very humble opinion, Andrew.
All right, so that's Harry Maguire. He's definitely on the squad. I know Mr. B gave me a squad list, so we can roughly work out who's going to be in the solo 11. Drum roll coming up. I'm just going to confirm it. Banana, Henderson, and Vitek are the goalkeepers. Dallo, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Lindelof, Martinez, and Shaw. So there's not many fullbacks there. Casemiro, McTominay, Mount, and Ericsson, and Fernandes. Out of these players, we have to pick 11. Pellistri, Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho, and Sancho, and Martial's there. So, Mr. B, drum roll, please, while we set up what is the solo 11. Now, guys, I want you to be as critical as possible. Let's break down this team. Is this the right team to play against Spurs? If not, why not? Let's go. You want to read it out, Mr. B, in bath time? Go through this.
Yeah. We've got Anana. Obviously in goal. Yeah, standard. Left back, Shaw. 2, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Bruno, Mount, Rashford on the left, Anthony on the right, and Sancho up top.
So do you want to strain for some explaining, or are you quite comfortable, confident to tell us why you played Sancho? That's the main difference here, isn't it?
Okay. Well, Garnacho, I would like Garnacho to start, and I do call him the Sancho Slayer, but I don't think he's ready. He might not be ready for that mantle yet. He looked very young, playing the game against whatever our last game was. I'm not gonna. He looked very young playing. He looked very inexperienced, and he played like a boy. I think against Spurs, we probably need to take care of the ball a lot more. Sancho's been playing. There has to be a reason why he played him as a striker, as a shadow striker in pre-season. So I think this is time to for Sancho to let him go. Rashford is our best player on the left. I don't like when he plays up front. So I think he needs to stay on the left, and we'll utilize the space. That long ball from Bruno over to the right-hand side should cause a little bit of chaos tomorrow.
Okay, bath time. You want to break down his team, and what? Well, the main difference for me is the Sancho move, but also maybe you can touch on what you would do in midfield, considering what you saw with Spurs last week.
Well, first of all, I don't think that Sancho is the right guy to play. Like, with a false nine, you're looking at well, you're trying to do two things, but you need at least one of the two, which is either a venomous press, or like you're going to be keeping the ball, and the false nine is going to be pulling people out of position. Our press isn't good enough, and we don't keep the ball well enough. So I don't think that Sancho would be who I would play. I would keep Rashford central. I'd put Mount on the left wing, and I'd bring McTominay into Mount's position. And that's because it's there's two reasons why I'm bringing McTominay in. The most obvious one is that we need physicality in the midfield. We can't have like Bissouma just like dancing around Casemiro and stuff. We need someone who's dependable, will win balls and will be disciplined. I understand people would probably want Eriksen to come in, who's not as bad defensively as people make out. But I do like. I don't know if bringing McTominay on can turn a game, but I do know that bringing Eriksen on can turn a game. So
Okay.
that's what I would do. And the reason I'm playing Mount at left wing is because we paid money for him. He's number 7, and I know he's going to play. But we need a team that can keep the ball better, that is more secure in the centre, that has better work rate. And Bruno and Mount and Casemiro, I don't think is going to work as a sort of balanced midfield.
Great
What do you
comment.
think, Amondo?
Look, I do think I'm with Mr. B on this one, to be honest. I think Rashford should play off the left. I think, look, last week it didn't work out. I think a lot of people are saying this as well, and I do agree. Rashford is better from coming off the left. He didn't hold up the ball too well for me. He hasn't really mastered the position, even though he scored some headers. He scored plenty of goals last season. He's always running onto things, and I think playing that position, he's coming out of position too much and not in the box, and he's coming wide to get involved in the play, and that's not discipline. You've got to stay in one position and hold that position. Even though you can link up, you link up in a different way, not by running out and taking up other people's spaces. So I think he should play out on the left what he knows he's comfortable with. Sancho playing there is a different thing for me, because I think he can peel off defenders and hold up the ball and give us more retention, something we didn't have last week. It wasn't until Eriksen and Sancho came on that these kind of players can sort of stick with the ball. The ball sticks to them, and it helps us build up. We don't give the ball away cheaply. So I like the idea of Sancho playing in a false 9 position, like he did all pre-season. I think what he offers us, he will drag their big centre-backs out of position, pick up the ball, and other people can occupy that space and make those runs, like Rashford and right Anthony, who I do think Anthony, there's a comment there from Damien that Anthony needs to improve. I do think he will improve if there's space for him to run into, rather than him waiting to get the ball and face up someone and think it's showtime, like it's futsal or something, So I'm happy with the team. Last point. I do think you're right about Mount, though, because I do agree with your point that you've been making over the last few weeks about that first line of press. Mount's very good at, and that's where he kind of played a lot of the time for Chelsea. So that makes a lot of sense to me as well. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say about Anthony. There were two things that I noticed in the Wolves game. One is he was playing much more narrow than normal, and I think a lot of that was because they know Rashford's going to drift, and there's going to be no central there's going to be no central attacker. But like Anthony, rather than being wide, was inside for the majority of the match, and I thought he looked. I'm not his biggest fan, but I thought he looked all right. And there were like two sort of like big problems that I saw in the match. And you're both coaches or manager. You both look after football teams. So like, if you, Mr. B, right, you're a winger, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If you make a straight run, what sort of ball do you need?
A ball over the top, probably. But I tell my players not to make a straight run. It has to be
diagonal.
Yeah, it has to be a diagonal. I think
right,
it's
and
easier to pass.
What ball gets you through with a diagonal run to break the lines?
From where? Where's it being played from?
Well, it doesn't matter where it's from. Like
as long as it's somewhere to something to chase. I tell my players I want them to be like rabbit. You know when greyhounds chase rabbits? Don't
Fred and McTominay.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, don't give them a ball that they've got a ball in the air where they've got no chance of catching. Give them something that they can sniff. Give them something close enough for them to be able to be in a battle with. And I always trust my wide men to do the job. And if they don't, then they normally hear my voice on the sideline. So it tends not to happen 2 or 3 times in a game.
Right, try this. Try this, right? One simple trick to get any team promoted. If you are making a diagonal run, the best ball to receive is a straight pass, like at 90 degrees. And if you make a straight run, the best ball to receive is a diagonal pass. Right? It's basic football. So like at the level that we're all playing at now, if you're a wide man, it's much better to make a diagonal run because the pass is easier to put through. Right? So diagonal needs a straight ball, and a straight run needs a diagonal ball. What I saw with Anthony and Mount is that they were making straight runs and getting straight balls, and it was shocking that in the Premier League this is what we're doing. And a lot of that was down to Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, and also Casemiro was by himself, and it's very difficult to play in midfield when you're by yourself.
If you want an example of a straight pass with a diagonal run, go and check out on my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook. I've recorded our game last week. Our left back came forward. Our striker came from right to left. Diagonal run, left back played it through the fullback and the centre back, straight ball, and he got in on goal and scored. So, perfect example of what you're just saying there.
Honestly,
there's some great comments as well, by the way. So when you
give us some comments. Go
on, make you finish your point.
My point is that Anthony from Wan-Bissaka is getting straight balls, and Mount was getting straight balls from Wan-Bissaka with the runs. I would be pretty sure that you're going to see someone closer to Casemiro against Spurs trying to give diagonal balls, because Casemiro is at his best when he's giving diagonal balls out to straight runners.
So it's key here that this team with Rashford out there would be effective with those diagonal balls with a straight runner. Or I like Rashford when he bends his run and comes from left into right over the top. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Guys, comments. Anthony has a lot to prove, says Damien. Sounds like a good squad, said DK here. Drop Mount and Anthony for Eriksen Palestri. I would drop Garnacho.
Already?
He still doesn't have the end product. It's funny that, isn't it? Everyone's gone on Garnacho now. Everyone say hi to Steve H. He says, Man United talks to sign Johnny Evans on a permanent basis from various sources as well. Could Bruno play as a false 9 if Sancho's not doing it, says Stephanie. Zico saying, I would play Rashford as a 9 because Sancho can create for him. So Sancho would be on the left, I imagine.
But Rashford's done bugger all that number. Anyway, yeah.
Zoe House is saying, we want to see front three of Rashford, Martial and Sancho. They are our best 3 attackers. So Rashford, Martial back in the squad, and Sancho. We've talked about that in a bit. Damien saying Sancho over Anthony, Garnacho left, Mount is shit on the wing. And he's shit on the wing. He's shit on the wing. Mount, Mason Mount, he's shit on the wing. Pelestri Garnacho on after hour mark would be good move. Ericsson is supposed can not start because legs are gone. I don't know if his legs are gone. He didn't work. Zoe's Media House saying, nice, great mind, Sigmund. So they agree. True, Mr. B. Marcus on the left wing is where he belongs. As for Sancho, keeps centrally. His passing ability from the middle in tight spaces will come in handy. That's from DK. Vincent saying here, then graphics are sick, making the show look even better. I just want to remove this and put Mr. B's face up. I can't. But I want to say, take a bow because this is all you, bruv.
It's not all me. See these graphics. This is down to Vincent.
Oh, of course.
The graphics are down to Vincent. I've done the outside bit, but the actual plays with the things is down to Vincent. So it's a big up to Vincent, Mr. Bullock. Thank you very much.
It's a big up to both of you. Both of you have been fantastic recently. Really good stuff.
Class. Proper class, yeah. Big up Vincent and Mr. B. We love the graphics. Rashford in the central, said Damien. United needs someone in the middle to help Casemiro out and also win headers when Anana pings the ball. Agree with Damien, says Stephen H. Andrew again is saying, I think it's too early to totally abandon Mount and Bruno trio. Yeah. Go on.
I want to keep it. At the end of the day, it's been one game and pre-season. For him just to tear it up now, I think probably he got it wrong. He's not doing that after one game. Halfway through the season, if it's not working, then fine. I just hope that the waiting part doesn't cost us games. It doesn't cost us games and points in the meantime.
So Andrew's made that point, but he's also saying, especially with Monday's version of Casemiro, thinks with Casemiro getting better, that treble for that trio of players will get better as well. Drop Mount and play, and Anthony said Steve H. Damien saying Anthony very predictable, needs to use his right foot more and go down the byline. This is a funny one from Matty. We went on tour together, road trip. He's saying Mr. B is my wingman. Watch out, ladies. Stephanie saying here,
what are you going to do?
we don't tell on here. This is all undercover. Stephanie saying here, why is Anthony not being tried on the left? You don't always need inverted wingers. That's another point. Hold on to that point, guys. Interesting point. When is Haaland back? I'm not sure. Zoe Media House saying Ericsson is our most creative player. I want to see him at number 10 and not Bruno. All last season, he barely played there. So remember these points, guys. We're just going to touch on them as well. Give Ericsson 60 minutes from the start. If he can do that, he can do 90 as well. Okay, and then predictions are coming through. And Zoe saying here, I would have Vincent do my graphics. I'll pay you. All right, big up. And here we go. Garnacho, only one bad game, and we drop him laughing. It's very harsh. Garnacho is a young star, a very bright future. Look at Kevin De Bruyne when he was at Chelsea. Martial time. Happy to see him in the squad. So talking points, Martial, because a few people mentioned him playing again. The other talking point was Ericsson, his contribution. His legs gone? Why didn't he play number 10 last season? What's his best position? And talk about Garnacho as well. We've given up on him already. 3 talking points there.
And inverted wingers?
Oh, yeah. And so inverted wingers as well. Why not play Anthony on the left? Talking points. You want to just quickly discuss? Should we just quickly have a quick discussion about that?
Well, Anthony on the left, I think it's a style thing. I think that right now, the vogue move is to have these players cutting on the inside on their wrong foot and try and curl him in the goal. The problem we have is Anthony's not going past the player down the right at all. So they show him down the right, and it slows him right down. He needs to learn something. If your left foot is that good, use it and go past it. We've seen players with left foots go. They show them inside, and they still take it and they still go around the outside. He does need to do more this season. This is a big season for Anthony, especially when you've got Pelestri who will go around the outside. So I think it's more of a system thing why Anthony doesn't go left. It would be nice to see him go left. It would be nice to have that variation, but because he's always been that right-sided player, I'm not sure he's ever going to make that move. Martial being back, I'm not excited. I love Martial to bits, but I'm not excited just because I expect him to get injured again when he comes on. Ten Hag is probably fitting himself thinking, Jesus Christ, if he plays him, without Hoyland actually being ready to go, I think he's going to be ready for the Arsenal game. To be fair, I think they're trying to get ready for the Arsenal game. There's he needs to now prove himself, Martial, again. So he's probably starting from scratch again. But Ten Hag's not going to take the chance to start him now. He's going to give him game time. So Martial's probably not going to start for another 3 games. He'll probably get half an hour. He'll probably get 2 sets of half an hours, and then if he does half decent, then he might get the start.
In this team, is Martial only being considered in one position down the middle?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
But do you think he could play somewhere else?
No. I agree with you. I think we haven't seen him play out wide for a long period of time, and I did like what he was doing at times last season down the middle. Bath time. Your thoughts on Garnacho, Martial, the left-footed inverted positions? Yeah. Let's bump heads.
All right, I'll start off with Martial. I know that, like, particularly on this channel, I'm most associated with McTominay as being my favourite player. My favourite Manchester United player is Martial. Like, I absolutely love him, but he can't stay fit. There's no doubt in my mind that if we could sell him, we'd have sold him probably a year or two ago. I think that he's very, very good on the left wing. And I think that even with Rasmus Højlund, he'd be our best central striker. He's strong. He wins free kicks. He can hold the ball up. He brings others into play. And at times, this will be what I get called deluded in the comments. Rashford and Martial are the nearest thing we have to York and Cole in terms of a partnership up front. They're great to watch when they're both raiding the left-hand side. And I think that Martial makes Rashford a better player and vice versa. And I'd love to see him play more. But it's the injuries. You can't... It's like if you've got a really nice car, you love it, but does it get you to work? And we need to get to work. Like, if we're going to get the title. Do you know what I mean?
Analogies when it comes to you put a Ferrari in a mini engine in a Ferrari. People love using car analogies when they're talking football. I like that one. You want to get to work, yeah.
I'm gonna shock you. I know nothing about cars. I've got a green one. It's got 4 wheels and it's amazing. All right, inverted wingers. Right, we talked about like a basic of football about straight runs, diagonal passes, all this sort of stuff. Inverted wingers are there for this reason. They're also there because we want to exploit half spaces, and it means that technical players like, I don't know, Ziyech or someone like that, who lack a bit of pace, can still be used in the game and can sort of hold the ball up. Like with sort of positional play, you want your player occupying the space. Back in the day, we used to have something called relationship play, which is more about ladders. So if you think of, if we use Cole and York, do you remember the famous goal in Barcelona?
Oh God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's more to it than that, right? We had a right-sided ladder where we had Keane slightly deeper, Scholes slightly in front, Beckham slightly in front, making a diagonal, and then you had Cole and York on a diagonal as well. That's like called relationship play, where people are moving into space as the ball is being played, instead of in positional play we occupy the space. That's all changed now because everyone is trying to play like Pep. But I think our team are more suited to like relationship play, where you can do like I don't know what it's called in English. It's so pretentious, but like when you step over the ball, it's called cortar la luz to me, cutting the lights. You like a feint and goes over. And I'm sorry, I can't remember what the last point you wanted to talk about was.
Well, we will go on to score prediction in a sec. So just to count, I just think also for a fullback, when you had someone like Giggs who was left-footed playing on the left side of the wing, or Kanchelskis running at you, it was just like, man, here we go again. This man's going to push and go, and it's going to be hard work. I think I'm just thinking about it during the show. Is it easier for fullbacks now to deal with inverted wingers? Because they tend to be cut inside, and you can play them inside into the crowded area a lot of the time. I don't know. I'm not a fullback, but I'm just considering that. I'm just throwing that one out there. That traditionally, when me and Mr. B grew up, it was like if you're right-sided player, you play on the right. There was none of this sort of inverted play stuff going on.
Yeah, but we were all about duels, like when we were growing up.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
True.
Like all 1v1s and stuff, and so like with the inverted wingers and all this stuff is about moving the opposition, whereas in the past it was about like beating the opposition, and it's all changed now.
Okay. Guys, so everything we touched on, we saw the solo 11. I don't know. Some of you were happy with it, some of you weren't. I don't know what you're expecting. I just don't know what team we're going to pick tomorrow. I think it's going to be consistent. I think it's going to go with what we did started with the other day, if I'm honest. But the score prediction, we're going to Spurs. They've got a wonderful stadium. They've got a new manager. They're enthusiastic now. They've got showed some character to get a good result in a London derby against Brentford. We're going there. We need the points. What are we going for here, man? I'm going to start. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think I'm going for a 1-0 win for Man United. The reason why I'm saying this is because I think they might not have that punch just yet. They're still working out how to play their football. Last week, I saw Emerson Royale, a fullback, playing in centre midfield. And then, obviously, Bath time explained they made adjustments and the midfield changed up after that. The high line business as well could favour us. I just think once we get a goal, we need to prove, like we almost did the other day, even if we're playing poorly, we need to prove that we can sort of make the changes, bring McTominay on or something, secure the game up. And that's what I would love to see. Even though we're not clicking or firing all cylinders yet, let's score a goal and then let's make sure we can manage to the end, not wait and almost give a penalty away in the last
minute. Was it almost a penalty now?
Almost, yeah. It definitely was a penalty, unless you want to go in on that one. So 1-0 Man United tomorrow. Get that goal, secure it up, and I'll be very happy if we can be able to do that. Don't forget to watch the watch-along at 5:30 tomorrow, guys.
What I want to know, Amondo...
Sorry?
What I want to know is... do the comments, but I want to know Mr. B's turn. I want more on Mr. B's turnaround on McTominay, and should he start tomorrow?
I'll save that. I'll just save that for... I'll save that for the game, after the game tomorrow.
Well, save it for your dream diary. Just tell us now.
No, it's all right. I'll wait. I'll wait for tomorrow. I'll wait because
But do you want him in the starting lineup?
Not for tomorrow. I don't even, but I would understand if we lose tomorrow, if the game after he starts, that it has to.
Something's got to change.
Yes, something has to change, whether it's positionally of the players where Mount is starting, or he's pulling Bruno back. He has to make an adjustment in game to make that trio of players work. He wants to play Casemiro, he wants to play Bruno, he wants to play Mount. So he has to. I'm not saying his reputation is on Mount, but to a certain extent it is, because when he bought Mount and he was in for Mount, everybody was meh. Nobody was really excited, and he's been meh since he's been there. So I think Mount needs to step up his game. And hopefully
Mount's not a squad player, is he? He's a first teamer.
Yeah, he's bought him as a first teamer, and I think that might be the issue that he's got. He's bought him as a first teamer. Mount's going to want to come and prove to the Chelsea fans that he should have been starting for them. But at the moment, he looks like the same Mount that he did at Chelsea.
Would you want Martinez maybe next to Casemiro? If we do
central midfield?
Yeah, if we do a 3-2, you know how John Stones goes and sits next to Rodri in possession.
Can Shaw, if we did that, is Shaw a better one-on-one defender than Martinez? See, that's the problem. I think that may be an issue as well. And is it easier for the left back?
Through. Martinez
is it easier for the left back?
What to go across?
Yeah, to go across rather than
it is.
Centre
yeah,
back
you're
to
right.
Go.
So we would in the block we would have Martinez, Shaw, Varane, and Wan-Bissaka with Martinez at left back. If that were the case, but of all our players, Martinez is probably the one who of the defenders who's best at playing inside. Shaw and Wan-Bissaka like they tried to do it a few times, but they weren't good enough. And I think we all agree that Casemiro cannot be left like just
Can't be
pudding
left in his
about
own.
in the
He can't be
on the
left in his
centre.
own. Yeah.
So who do
This-
we put next to him? Amonda.
This is when we're bringing the ball out. This is when we've got the ball.
This is in possession.
In possession. All right. Can we get some score predictions, please, guys? Because we're going off topic here. And
shit,
just
I'm running out
before
of
we
time.
do, sorry, I was going to come to you, Mr. B, but before we do, this is the influence of bath time. I'm really shocked. Mr. B had his head turned. He thought I'd change his mind on McTominay. Jeff saying here, I think Scott McTominay should start tomorrow. Damien saying I would drop Mount for Scott. That's Scott McTominay again. And thirdly, our very own Solo's dropped in and said, so Scott needs to start tomorrow. Wow. What I mean, wowzers, guys. 3 people.
I never said he should start.
Yep.
He should be closely monitoring that system. But yeah, if he starts within the next couple of games, you can't really moan. And then I'll be screaming, Lord, screaming all hellfire when McTominay doesn't pass the ball. And oh gosh.
All right, score predictions. Come on, because these are coming through. Before you think about it, guys, I'm going to come to you two next. Damien saying it's a Man United win away from home, 2-1. Good evening to Solo, no doubt. 4-1 Man United, the Zoe Media House.
Wow.
3-2 to Man United from Solo. DK saying prediction, I think United breaks out 3-1. And Damien's just going back saying they have the best stadium now. I've been there, it's brilliant. 2-2 says Jeff. We've got 3-0 from Stephanie for United as well. And any more scorelines coming through? Not just yet, but yeah. Oh, hold on a minute. Zico saying Scott only had 2 good games last season. He ain't good enough. That's simple as that. Anyway, scorelines. Come on. Prediction time. Let's wrap this up.
Okay. I'm going to go. I expect them to score because they're at home. We're not scoring 3, and we haven't won away from home in 9 games from last season as well. So I don't think it's that. And we didn't. Our first game wasn't that. I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1. Yeah, I'll go 2-1.
That's a good result. I'll take that any day of the week. And bath time, over to you. What's the score?
I can't disagree with anything that Mr. B has said, but I'm going for 3-1 because Ange Postecoglou is a Virgin manager in the league as well, and there has to be some kind of response from the players. Mount, Casemiro, Rashford, like all of them have got to respond from that like disaster at Old Trafford. So I'm expecting that we might exploit the high line, we might stuff the box, and we might not score in the first half, but I'm expecting 2 or 3 goals from our boys, or I'll be beastly.
Just quickly, so we had a bit of an issue breaking teams down. Wolves, we struggled to break them down. We are creating a lot of chances last season. Then there was a period where we had a great away form a couple of seasons ago because we could beat them in transition. We are a transitional team as well. Against Spurs might be up for it. The fans will get behind them. There might be opportunities to score goals tomorrow, and hopefully we've put them away. So Stephanie Griffiths is saying here, believe Mr. B. And another thing, bath time, you get a lot of influence in this show. Totally agree. Martinez is the best with the ball out of the defenders, which means Jeff's saying here, yes, in possession, would love to see Martinez next to Casemiro. And obviously that's when we're building the ball.
It does mean he's at left back, though, in the block. And Shaw is overrated as a centre-back. It's like there's pluses and minuses.
Just to type this up again, can't wait to see referee bath time versus Zico cage match. Obviously, Zico bath time.
Kahinde would eat me. It would be like Godzilla versus Garfield. My only chance would be to run away,
Guys,
or if he's ticklish.
Some good podcasting. Let's see it. Bath time versus Kahinde. They had a little bit of a scuffle after the game the other day, and I think that we're going to get them together to have a little discussion.
That'd be great. I really like him there, and I respect him as a football man. So it's not a fight. It's it's conversation until he realises that I'm correct.
You think you're Brian Clough. Anyway, that's enough from us, guys. Score predictions, got them in. It was only Jeff Boo who gave a negative scoreline, a draw. It's a discussion, not a fight. He's saying here, and United missed too many chances last season as well. I want to say hi to Arnab. Said hope to see their real form and play away, play United way, the United way. Sorry, I thought you said playing away. Play the United way. Play our new real form.
Welcome, Arnab. Welcome.
Big up, Arnab. Thanks for coming to the channel. You want to miss Mr. B's, boys?
No, nothing to do with me, mate. Nothing to do with me.
Okay, Stephanie Griffith says 14 likes, only 14. Press the like button for us, guys, if you don't mind. Vincent saying it's what they call good old face-offs. Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. We will see. Anyway, guys, that's enough from me. Mr. B, you got a show coming up. Just give us a little.
Yeah, we got the takeaway in half hour. We've got a West Ham, we got a Tottenham, and obviously we got a Arsenal fan on tonight. We're going to be discussing their games. We'll chat about the Newcastle game as well. No point in talking fantasy league until next week when I'm top. And yeah, we will be discussing things the show kicks off in half an hour, so do what you need to do for 30 minutes.
I'm going to be there. Also, guys, don't forget, if you want some retro kits, my friend Tony Lee, he's sells a lot of great merchandise. It's called We Love Sports Apparel, and just so type in We Love Sports Apparel, especially on Facebook. We Love Sports. The slogan is "Ignite Your Passion." A dynamic sports brand selling top-notch sports apparel for all. I've got 2 United shirts from him. Really good quality, good cheap. Speak to Rebel as well. Rebel's got some Jordans, and they do Nike Airs. They also do NFL, NBA, and NHL as well, and training football trainers, and Air Max and Jordans 1 to 12 as well. So that's We Love Sports. Tony Lee on Facebook. Go and check him out. Or if you want some stuff, contact me or anyone on the agenda. And send it through. But it's really good quality stuff. If you don't want some cheaper but good quality sportswear merchandise. Bath time. How's you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, I love talking to football people, and I've had a great time. So thank you for having me on.
Brilliant. It's going to be like Tyson and Bruno. Sigmund said he's going to jump in as well. Great show as always, says Jeff, of course, also from the States. DK saying, see you in 30 minutes. He's going to be there with you, Mr. B, as well. Any discount if you use the word Man United Agenda? Yes, there will. I'm saying yes. I don't even know. I shouldn't say that, should I? I shouldn't say that. All right. I should. Sorry, Tony. What was it? Arnab is saying here, we'll love to see the highlights of your match reaction. So Arnab, just subscribe to the channel. 10 o'clock, you're going to see Mr. B below me. He's doing a brilliant show. It's weekly. It's called The Takeaway. And then tomorrow we're doing live watch along, and then we're doing a reaction after that as well. So join us for the weekend, settle down, and it'll be a lot of fun. Amondi, DM me the link. Yeah, I will do that right now as soon as I finish the show. Matthew Bassett. See, there you go. That's how business is done. Bath time. Appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we see you for the match reaction tomorrow.
Of course.
Brilliant. And we all say we're going to win, so we're all buzzing by that. It's the end of the show.
Apart from Jeff.
Oh, yeah, of course. Boo.
Yeah, boo, Jeff. Boo. Boo. Bloody refs. Yeah,
exactly.
Fun police.
Jeff. I hear you're not running too good at the moment. But yeah, come with more positivity than that. Let's whoop Spurs tomorrow at the Lane. And we'll be singing tomorrow night after the show. And good luck. Sorry, finally as well, Mr. B. Good luck tomorrow in your cup game. Hopefully you get through.
Gonna fucking need it, mate. I tell you.
And remember, straight runs,
diagonal passes.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell them that man's gonna be running. I tell them that they're gonna be running off the pitch just so passing the ball that way.
And by the way, keep Sarab, because we share a player, Sarab, a young man called Sarab. Yeah. And keep him nice and fit for me, please. He had
a good game last week. My instructions were simple. If they work again, then I think I've finally cracked it. Then
good.
We'll see.
He's got potential. Anyway, guys, we'll see you later, 10 p.m. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.